All right, for history. Yesterday we talked about 1942 and the meeting between Churchill and Stalin in Moscow. You watched a video about that. So after that meeting, things really started to look better for the Allies. Towards the end of 1942 and throughout 1943, the Allies started to have more success. In January of 1943, Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt met in Casablanca, Morocco in Africa. And they had a meeting there and laid out a lot of plans for the next year and just got on the same page. They met quite a few times throughout World War II. I think something like 12 or 13 times throughout the war. It was after that meeting in January that the Allies started to push the Germans out of Africa altogether. So throughout 1943, there were a lot of battles in Africa. And by the end of 1943, the Allies had pushed them out of Africa altogether. In the Soviet Union, Stalin was able to push the Germans out of Leningrad and out of Stalingrad after long, long battles there. They finally got victories. And the Allies started to attack southern Italy and started to push the Axis powers back from southern Italy. So the East and the South were doing really well for the Allies, but they knew that they needed a victory in the West. They needed a victory in France so that they could begin to push into the heart of Germany. That was the only way the war was going to end, is if they crushed Germany right at its heart. So Winston Churchill had been planning this top secret operation for several years. He just didn't have the manpower or the equipment to make it happen. That is, until the Americans got involved. So he met with Roosevelt and he told him about his super secret plans, and Roosevelt thought it was a great idea. They just weren't quite there yet. And they weren't quite there yet and quite ready until they started seeing all these victories in Africa, in Italy, and in the Soviet Union. So after that, they realized, we're ready, we need to put somebody in charge. And the person they decided to put in charge was General Dwight D. Eisenhower. So Eisenhower was in charge of this super secret operation. It was called Operation Overlord. And it was finally put into place in June of 1944. And it became known as D-Day. So most people have heard about D-Day. It's probably the most famous battle in all of history, definitely in World War II. And we're really going to focus on that more on Monday, but I did attach a video about D-Day just so that you get a little bit of information about it, and then we're going to talk in depth about that on Monday. So that was your quick history lesson for today. Continue with your research projects and continue sending me updates so that I know how you're doing and I can point you in the right direction if you need some help with that. So have an awesome weekend. Bye guys.